Hello and welcome to
Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here, and I'm joined by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett, as we await the next game. So, what a week. How was your week, Matty?
Well, definitely spent Wednesday, a nervous wreck, full of anxiety, checking Twitter constantly over the Rogers situation. Here we are as we record always on Thursday night. I'm just hoping we don't have any more like positive tests pop up at the last minute. But I know a lot of people came back to practice today, including Devontae, which is a very awesome thing. So, it definitely started with like, oh no, Rogers is out. Now it's like really transitioned much more to like, but we get to see Love do some stuff. And when it comes down to it, this isn't, the Green Bay Rogers, it's the Green Bay Packers. It's an amazing team full of like talent and hard work and an amazing coach. I think the best coach, coach of the year, hashtag LaFleur coach of the year. So
That's right.
I think they have a really good chance of winning. I think that, Vegas like has been overvaluing the Chiefs all year and hasn't really caught up to the fact that they're not having a good year. I think we have a very good chance. I think it's gonna be a great game.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, I got a backpack for my kitten.
Ooh.
Because, yep. And
wait. That the kitten wears or that you put on and the kitten like goes inside
that I wear theoretically and put the kitten inside, and it's all kind of mesh. I was going to show it to you for those of you who are seeing the video. Obviously you can't see it on a podcast, so I need to get better at my descriptors. So it's all mesh and it's airline approved. So my whole thing, I read a book years ago called what's it called? The Cat Who Went to Paris or something like that. It was about this guy who didn't really like cats, and his girlfriend got a Scottish Fold, which is a certain breed of cat. And basically the guy ended up adopting this cat from the girlfriend. They broke up and he had a life with this cat, and the cat went everywhere with him. And I know a lot of people actually around here, I see them walking their cats on leashes, and I've always felt like it'd be really cool to just have a cat that, jumps in the car with you or goes for a walk and isn't freaking out every time, because cats can be like that. So, yes. And this one, Tosh, has a really nice personality. She's confident and she's not skittish like a lot of cats are. She's 4 months now. She's a bruising 5.2 pounds, which means she's probably going to be about a 10-pound cat. Hopefully I want a bigger cat. But my weight limit for lifting post surgery. Oh, you okay, buddy? You just reminded me I should take a sip. So my weight limit for post surgery is 5 pounds, and she's 5.2 pounds. She's 5.2, and then the backpack isn't really super light. I think it's got some wire in it or whatever, because you put it on your back, but it also slides under this. I'm trying not to laugh. Are you okay? So yeah. What are you drinking? By the way, I'm having a Guinness tonight. What are you drinking?
Nice. Just water, like always. No, went down the wrong pipe there. I had to mute for a minute there. My goodness.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so I want the cat to travel with me. She's pretty cool, and I'm excited about that, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to put her on my back on the new backpack for a while, because I'm still healing from surgery and I'm trying not to do anything stupid like stupid. So that was my big thing for the weekend. I'm trying really artfully to not discuss the thing that annoyed me the most about the week that everyone's obsessed with. I mean, even people, everyone in the NFL is talking about Aaron Rodgers and everything that happened. And obviously hearing somebody that you know or care about, or even just know through the media, a sports star, a movie star, or whatever, who picks up a virus that could be potentially, dangerous. That's a scary thing. So, but I did watch the press conference today, and Matt LaFleur said he spoke with Aaron Rodgers today and he's doing well. And so that was good news.
That's good. Yeah.
We don't want to have people get sick. That's horrible. That's scary. This is a horrible time to be living, through a pandemic. So first and foremost is that. But yeah, I'm kind of irritated. I tried not to get too bogged down with that, but it's interesting. And some of the things I wanted to talk about tonight kind of are going to feed right into that for some reason or another. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so I'm super excited about seeing Jordan Love. I was probably one of the few people on the planet who wasn't surprised when Jordan Love was not him particularly, but when a new quarterback was drafted, because the Packers tend to put a lot of years in, investment and training and developing their players. And, Rodgers sat behind Favre for 3 years? Was it? Or
right.
4? So. Yeah. And so I'm excited about Jordan Love. I've been excited about him from the beginning. And I'm looking forward to seeing him on Sunday. I'm super excited about seeing him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So in my weekend Saturday happy hour gathering, what we do over here on the beach with my best friends, we've now transitioned that to a lunch event because of the time changing. So I'm not real fond of the time change, but it's already getting, because we used to meet out there at 7 or so, and then we changed to 6 and it's like 5 and it's like, maybe we should do lunch. So yeah, last Saturday we ended up at a French restaurant. The beach was closed down for maintenance. So, but we're getting back to that. And I'm just looking forward to a nice, mellow, healing kind of weekend. And hopefully no more bad news from our team.
No more bad news, just a good game.
A good game, no more injuries and no more reminders of why I didn't want to watch football in the first place. It's been pretty brutal this year with injuries. And
it's been bad, yeah.
So how are you feeling? I think I usually ask you, are you excited? Are you scared?
You're definitely excited. I mean, I pretty much covered that already, I guess, and talking about we kind of transition into that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game. It's going to be on almost everywhere, so it'll be easy to catch it. I mean, everyone in the US, so it's gonna be easy to watch it on TV, which I like watching it on TV instead of I don't watch it on streaming services that are not technically allowed, because when you watch it on TV, then it's not on a delay, which I like, because I can text with my dad like I always do, with things. So I do like watching TV more. Yeah,
I'm always behind my sister in Wisconsin, so that's kind of a bummer. A lot of times she'll call me toward the end of the game and don't call me yet. I don't know anything. Don't ruin it for me. It's like ruining the end of a. Yeah, so I'm excited to see Love play. I've been looking forward to it. The preseason was kind of, I think he only played like 1.5 games in the preseason. So, and at the same time, I don't believe his performance this Sunday should be the end all. Like, is he great or is he not going to be great? I mean, it's just going to be one game. He's one game. One game.
It's like a small sample size.
That's right. So where we're heading into week 9, right, of the NFL. The Thursday night football, Jets at Colts, and it is 28-10 still. The Colts are winning, and the Packers remain number 1 in the NFC North and the NFC Conference, the number 1 seed. So enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, it might not last.
So we know Packers got the win in Arizona and what seems to be decades ago when they played the Cardinals, but they are taking on the Chiefs in Kansas City tomorrow. And we're both excited. So how do you feel about the team in general as we sit here now? And what treasures did you dig up for us this week, Matt?
Well, you said how do I feel about the team? I'll just quickly say that Joe Barry, we weren't so sure about it at first, especially after the first game, but man, the defense has just really been coming on, just seeing where it's going, especially with like players that they just picked up, like, off the street or whatever. The defense, it's been so impressive. And I'm not saying anything anybody else hasn't said yet, but just with people coming back off of IR, off of whatever else, the potential for the team to grow even more is amazing. So no, I'm feeling really good about the team. And we'll see how good our backup quarterback is. And maybe even Blake Bortles if we need to.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
Which is weird, but whatever.
It is.
It's
it is.
next man up, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, for this week, my superlatives. What was it over the weekend? I think one of the Packernet podcast episodes, Ryan Schlip, a Pack Daddy on Twitter, he had this whole like the first half of the episode was about, we didn't hire Joe Barry because of who he is as a person, but like because of the scheme that he uses and like can bring to the team, and why that would be a good fit for like Matt LaFleur's vision for it, and how important not the individual that you hire for a coach, but like that whole idea of what the scheme is. And so when you have a really good scheme, and then also the players who can execute it, that combination of scheme and talent and ability, that's when you get like really great results. And so the Packers defense has been full of really good players, for the whole entire LaFleur era, but like obviously underachieving those first 2 years that he was here. So sort of like Ryan's thing was like, well, we brought in Barry because like he could better use those players, and because that was going to be a better defense to go with going forward in general, because of like where the league's at, what's gonna be the most effective defense. And so I thought that was just brilliant. It just blew my mind. In fact, I'm sure I retweeted it. That first half hour of that one, it was one of the best half hours I've ever heard him do. It was so good. So I'd recommend going back and listening to it. It's one of those things that, because he's talking about like a concept, it's timeless. Like if you checked it out in the off season, you still get something out of it. So It was really good. So my first one was best insight for Ryan Schlip this week. My second one is for most clarifying. This is going to Rob Domofsky on this. I generally try to not like bring stuff from beat reporters into the show here, because like they have a lot of recognition. Everyone knows who they are. I like to be able to talk about people who aren't as like, blue check mark, super well-known people. But man, when the Rodgers news broke and there was just a lot of questions and everybody was uncertain about the protocols, they're kind of confusing. Rob Domofsky dropped an article that just laid everything out, like clarified a lot of stuff, and it was really like the right article at the right time. So most clarifying to Rob Domofsky. And so my third one was best relief. So after a day full of stress, it was Wednesday, and of course Wednesday night is Lombardi's Bar on Game On Wisconsin. It is one of my favorite shows of the week. It's for those who don't know, which is crazy to think anybody might not know. It's Dan Kotnick is kind of the host, and Jimmy Christensen and Todd Varney are the other two people on the show. And it's just like the three of them kind of like busting each other's chops and talking Packers, and it's a really fun time. If you watch it live, you can like comment in the chat on the side, and they interact with that, and it's a lot of fun. So after a day of Wednesday, to be able to watch their show, because they're funny, and they had this really interesting debate about just what is Rodgers obligated to share with people, like what are the ethics behind it, what are the morals behind it, which was really fascinating and so funny, insightful. And they had Josiah DeGuara on as a guest, which was especially fun because he is an alumni of UC where I work. So just like getting the chance to like kind of throw some comments at him and stuff like that was, I thought, really cool. So and he talked a little bit about Cincinnati too. So definitely it was a huge relief. It did a lot it was healing, even though there was a lot of them arguing during the debate, still it was like, it was sort of it was a relief. It was healing to hear that at that point. So thanks, Lombardi's Bar. Thank you.
Thanks, Lombardi's Bar. Thanks for the vibe. Yeah, I took your advice. I was actually going to try and catch it live, but I did replay it. And I've seen their show before. I usually am on replay, and I could see how it'd be way more fun to do it live, with the chat going and all that. But they're a great group of three, and it was fun to see a player on there. And really nice, really nice. I have a question for you. Let's see. On Schlip, I don't know if I caught that Packernet podcast. That's Packernet, right?
It was the one from Saturday.
Okay, maybe I didn't then. So interesting that he said that, because Joe Barry also has that bubbly personality, and so when you first started talking about it, I thought he was going to say it wasn't for his personality, it's for his scheme. But I think his schemes, obviously are it's got to have that too. But
Yeah.
the bubbly personality must go a long way. I think it has to be great to work in his on the defense with his leadership. He's so fun. He's
And I
so
think that the
upbeat.
players, sorry, yeah, I think the players have really like responded to that. Like they talk about it
I
in their
would
press
think.
conferences. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, part of that with that whole thing is like Joe Barry's record, as a defensive coordinator is like not good.
Right. It was
But that's like they're able to look past that and talking about who they're going to hire and hiring him because it's more about the scheme.
Right. Well, and we don't always know with all the strategies going on with the team. We can't always judge immediately what a coach or what a player or anyone's going to do, really. So that's a good reminder of that too. So very nice, Matt. Very nice.
So yeah, Dawn, what do you got for this week?
Well, I didn't realize that that the news of Aaron Rodgers was going to break this week. So I have a more serious topic, one topic basically with some links and resources to share. So I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer because I feel like people need something to laugh about right now, like you said, the Lombardi's bar. But I wanted to talk about, it's been a journey for me to become a football fan. And obviously, if I'm going to be a football fan, it's going to be a Packers fan because I'm from Wisconsin and my family would disown me if I was, anyone else. So, but some of the things I think, and they may just be because I'm female, and other women might have the same reticence about football. But we hear back in the day when I really wasn't a fan, there was the whole Ray, and maybe I was partially a fan. There was the Ray Rice and the Michael Vick news, and it just seemed like there's endless news. Henry Ruggs this week, and it just seems like there's a lot of testosterone, that's misplaced sometimes, and I think that's one of the reasons, part of the landscape that made me not really interested in football. Of course, it's the aggressiveness and the injuries in the game that bother me, quite a bit. But there's been something interesting that just caught my interest. I've been kind of watching it, and I didn't quite understand what was happening about this whole investigation into Dan Snyder and the whole Washington football team, which, by the way, I really wish they would come up with a name other than that. It drives me crazy to say it, but the Washington football team, formerly the Redskins. And then what kind of reignited that whole, my interest in this is the Gruden firing that kind of came from left field and how that played into this. And so I kind of did a little bit of background checking and resourcing, and I came and I looked at what Andrew Brandt had to say, because he's very reasonable. He's obviously previously covering the Packers and for Sports Illustrated, I believe. So he has a few, and he has a podcast. So even though he doesn't need our support, like you were saying, some of the blue check marks, they don't need our support. Sometimes they have resources and have time to look into things. And of course, he has a legal background as well. And that's important, especially with this. So, and so there was one podcast I listened to called Lack of Transparency at the Washington Football Team. And I'll drop the link for that in the show notes. But so the Washington Football Team had a couple of, I don't know if they were whistleblowers or just people who were suing them, but a couple of women who went on his show, and basically as horrifying as it was, they laid out what was happening there. Because to me, it's been very obscure. Okay, well, there's harassment. There was sexual harassment. Well, what does that mean? But until you hear people having a personal experience and sharing what exactly happened, it doesn't really have color or become alive. And so I would recommend everybody, whether you're interested in football or not, to look at that or to listen to that podcast, because it was actually rather piercing to hear them and how brave of the Emily Applegate and Rachel Engelson are their names, for them to join Andrew Brandt and to lay this all out. and talk about why they didn't report it to human resources, the stifling atmosphere there, the fear, their actual interactions with Dan Snyder himself. So they got really into a lot of detail. And the reason this keeps coming back is, and it's really important, is, you know, a lot of people think, well, didn't they have an investigation? Isn't it over? Well, the NFL, you know,